All right, I usually talk about roleplay on my channel. I don't usually broach on mechanics, and that is the case here. I'm going to talk about how to properly optimize a character specifically for combat, but in doing so, I'm going to talk about why and how you should do so to create a much more interesting character, rather than how to create the most powerful character. And this will inevitably lead to you making a stronger character, don't get me wrong, but you want to do so in a way that makes you feel like you've fit your power fantasy. It's very hard to get invested in a character mechanically in a mechanics-based game. I talk all the time about how D&D is a story-based game these days. Storytelling is the forefront of the games that I run, but that still doesn't remove the fact that the mechanics are a huge portion of it. And so if you are unsatisfied with the mechanics of your character, it will lead to being a more difficult time to invest into your character roleplay-wise, and you shouldn't feel bad for that. The first thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that you have optimized your action economy. I know that sounds very min-maxy or power gamey or whatever it is you want to say, but it is legitimately a very important thing to do to make your character feel good. Let me make it very clear, a hugely powerful action is not as effective as having a decent action, a decent bonus action, and a decent reaction. Having all three of those things, I guarantee, will make you feel much more satisfied with your character and want to invest in the roleplay. And here's the reason. Roleplay does not end when combat begins. A lot of people know this, we talk about it a lot, but it can be really difficult when you're in the game because when somebody else is taking their turn, you don't want to interrupt them and slow combat down. So how the heck are you gonna roleplay? Well, if you have your action economy set out, you are set up for success to roleplay. If you have an effective reaction you can use every turn, you can use that as your roleplay. You can say, as I get struck, I would like to look up with flames in my eyes and spew out fire from my very lungs as I cast fiendish rebuke on them. And I would like to look to my teammate to the side and say, I'm gonna kill him for that. See? Very simple. You didn't take a lot of time and you got to use your reaction. It adds more excitement. Or say you miss as the rogue with that action to attack, but you do have two weapon fighting, so you are able to use your bonus action attack to try and hit again. And so you swing above their head, and as they look down at you and smirk, you bring out a dagger they didn't notice and jab it right into them and smirk right back. You're role-playing, and you have an effective action economy. Here's the deal. YouTubers like me and D&D YouTubers in general will oftentimes harp on the fact that you shouldn't rely on the mechanics to roleplay. And I still stand by that. I think it's true, but I also think it's missing some of the point. D&D is a mechanics-based game, and the mechanics are the perfect opportunity to give you the spotlight to roleplay, because when you're doing something mechanical, the game focuses on you naturally. If you are making a roll to figure out a secret, the game will focus on you because that's what's happening at that point. It's what shifts the attention of the DM. And so making sure that you have an optimized character for roleplay mechanically is a good way to go. Now here are some of the pitfalls that I would avoid. One, if the other characters at the table do not have a ton of mechanics that they have optimized for themselves, it's going to be difficult. If you're the one with the strong action, bonus action, and reaction, and you can do so every turn, but everybody else just has an action and that's it, it may begin to make them feel a little bit like they don't have as much to do as you, which is true. But the most important part is you don't want to keep stealing the spotlight away from them. Every time they have an action and you use a reaction, they feel like they can't really invest in the spotlight. One of the ways I would help this is one, maybe help them optimize their character, or two, talk with the DM about it, or three, anytime that you use your actions and mechanics to put the spotlight on you, use it to share the spotlight with somebody else. If you're using your reaction as a grave cleric to prevent a natural 20, interact with that player and let them know that you're helping them out so that they can succeed.
Just putting it out there, you reducing that critical hit probably saved his life, because if that attack reduces him to maximum hit points, they die.
Yeah, I know. We gotta get him off that right away.
There would have been no death saves.
There would have been no death saves.
Oh, you just almost died.
Almost died. No death saves. Fuck you.
Flat out done.
Caduceus is your best friend, buddy.
Something like that. The other thing that I would really avoid doing is don't just find a good reaction, bonus action, and action. Find ones that fit your character. Yes, you can totally go super min-maxy power game and get the best ones possible, but if they don't feel like they fit your character and you're just taking them for the mechanics, it's not going to help with the story or roleplay. For example, I'm currently playing a character named Glade. They are a chronologist wizard, and I have a very good reaction and action, and sometimes a bonus action. I am working on that, but it's gonna take a few levels. Point is, I feel very comfortable with that because my reaction is a lot of dice rolling mechanics. I can cause players to re-roll things or add a d4 onto them, and that feels very in tune with my chronologist roots. And my action is almost always a chronology-based spell, meaning that I feel very comfortable in that. My bonus action that I tend to use is Misty Step, and when I do so, it's just flavored as me temporarily freezing time so I can get the heck out of there. So all of them feel like they fit the character. But imagine if I didn't do that. Imagine if I took something that just didn't make sense, like say for example, Fiendish Rebuke. That doesn't make any sense for my character. Yes, it is a spell I could get, do not get me wrong, and it wouldn't make any difference if I used it. But I personally don't feel like it would feel that great because it just wouldn't fit the character. And so that's what I mean by this. You want to find all these actions to fit your character because it makes you feel more invested in them story-wise while optimizing. And that's hugely important. But you do need to check in with your DM on this. Make sure they're on board and let them understand why you're trying to optimize. And maybe you can't find a reaction, bonus action, etc. that really fits your character. Well, talk with the DM. Maybe you can figure something out and make it work. You can find a way to work in the story to train with a shield so you could take Shield Master or something similar. Don't do that on a wizard though. I feel like that would be a bad idea on a wizard. Point is, just have a good time figuring it out. There is nothing wrong with optimizing. You just need to optimize for the purpose of having a better game and story and sharing the spotlight with others. And honestly, when it comes down to it, if you're really focusing on optimizing your character, it's just gonna make them more fun to you and a lot easier to invest into. I feel very confident in Glade's abilities and I like what they can do. But at the end of the day, they're just a wizard. They rely on the other teammates, but I feel confident in them being a wizard. So I know that I have my strengths and still have to rely on the other teammates, making it feel much more cohesive. If you don't feel confident in your character's build, if you don't feel like it works very well and that you're just kind of all over the place, not doing a whole lot, yeah, you can try and invest in the roleplay, but it's always going to be in the back of your mind unless you are just very confident in the storytelling and you're with the right group, that you're not really contributing to the group. And that feels bad. You shouldn't feel wrong for feeling bad about that. It's important to want to feel good about your character without going overboard. Don't over-optimize, don't over-min-max, don't become a munchkin who's just trying to get the highest numbers possible because this is a numbers game, right? And that's the point. I mean, if your group is okay with that and that's what you guys are doing, fine, go for it. But I know most groups aren't totally focused on that. So if you're going to do this, do so for a reason of investing in the story. Do so for the reason of investing in the other characters. The mechanics let you take the spotlight and use it to share with others. Use it to create more interesting moments. There is so much potential, but it's not as easy as just saying, hey guys, roleplay doesn't stop when combat starts. Because that's hard to do. We want to be respectful of each other in combat, and we don't want to interrupt each other. And this is a great way of doing it. Optimize your character to be what you hope your character can be, and then find a way of making that bolster everybody in the party. Whether it is you are the insane damage-dealing fighter who has a perfect action economy and you can use that to set up the wizard to have a great spell, do it. Go take out the enemy who's trying to get to the wizard so the wizard can take out the big bad guy in front of you. That's all right. Work together, optimize well, and create a much more fun story. And if you want to talk more about optimization, I have a video right here where I talk about why optimizing honestly is a great thing to do, as long as you do it right.